Hello there. You're welcome to Football 3CGH. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. As I always say, when I come, you share this video, you drop your thoughts in the comment section, you like, then you subscribe to become a part of the Football 3CGH family. Okay. We are in the transfer season in the Ghana Premier League. From 24th December 2025, the second round of the transfers will be open to clubs in the Ghana Premier League, the Division 1, the Division 2, to bring on new players to augment their squad. Some teams will need to bolster their defense, others their midfield, and certainly others the attack. On today's discussion on transfer exclusive, we will turn our attention to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. It has become imperative for Kotoko to bolster their midfield. Before the season started, we know that their campaign in midfield, Andrews Intimanu suffered an anterior cruciate ligament that ruled him out for the entire season. It was that injury that pushed Kotoko to go to Samatex in Summerboy to go bring Hilary Adabo Lord. Lord Hilary Adabo hasn't done bad at all. At least he's been able to justify why Kumasi Asante Kotoko brought him into their midfield to come help them sustain the midfield in the absence of Andrew Sintimero. But then that isn't all, okay? Even after they've brought on Lord Hilary Adabo, their midfield continued to be weak and weaker. Babayaya hasn't been fit. He's been on and off, ruled out by injury. He returns, goes out again. Emmanuel Enchi, who married last Saturday, has also suffered a long-term layoff. For the past 2 months, Emmanuel Enchi is here to kick a ball for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Samuel Tinedu, he wasn't offered much of a playing time, but then Tinedu has also suffered an injury, and so it's become a worry. Even though he wasn't playing consistently, now that most of the starters are nursing injuries, would expect Samuel Tinedu to come in to the midfield and help the team. But then Tinedu has also been ruled out. Lord Hilary Adabo, who was brought on to replace the injured Andrew Sintimanu, has also suffered an injury, and so for the past 2 weeks, getting to 3 weeks, Lord Hilary Adabo has not been seen in the Kumasi Asante Kotoko team, and so it's become a worry, a great worry to coach Karibizito and his technical team to find replacement and to bolster their midfield. The difference between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and league leaders and Junior Stars is 5 points, and so if you don't catch up now, you will suffer to catch up. You get it? It's 5. If a Junior wins and you lose, it turns to 8. Everything can happen in the next round of matches, and so Kotoko has decided to go into the market and bring in new midfielders. Not just new midfielders, but then if you are bringing on players in this second transfer window, you have to bring players that are on form, on fire, and are performing well in their individual clubs, so that when they come, they're able to give you what you want and give you the results now. And so, if you've heard that Kumasi Asante Kotoko has begun negotiations with former player, former captain, Richard Boadu Agadas. Now, Agadas left the shores of Ghana, went to Libya, went to Tunisia, plied his trade, and then suffered injury, ruled out, ran out his contract, and returned to Ghana. At least he's been in Ghana for more than 2 months now, training individually, trying to get himself back from the injury, get himself back into match fitness, and then see what he can do and see where next to go play his football. Management of Kumasi Asante Kotoko had begun an extensive negotiations with now free agent and former player Richard Boadu Agadas. The deal should have been finalized somewhere last month in November, but the pending or the impediment, or what you call a hurdle now, that is led for both parties to clear, is that Richard Boadu Agadas is holding on for a 6 month contract, so that he will just play the second half of the season and see where next to go play. The IMC of Kotoko, led by Nana Kwesi Appinkwe, thinks that just signing a 6 month contract isn't the best, at least to the club, because they are thinking that after 6 months and then Boadu regains his shape, gets back into match fitness, and has played to the delight of everyone, he will get another offer outside the country and he will leave the club without the club getting anything. And so, what the IMC of Kotoko is holding out for now is a 1 year, 6 months contract or a possibly 2 year contract. That is the impediment now. That is the hurdle left for both parties to agree on and clear. Richard Bodwagara thinks that he's now recovering from injury, so he needs a short-term 6 months contract. Kotoko are also thinking that after 6 months, we are going to lose you for free. So sign a 1 year, 6 months contract or a possibly 2 year deal so that after 6 months and you are moving on, the club can sell you and get something out of the deal. That is where both parties are now. But if they're able to put their axes together and reach a common point, Richard Bodwagada should rejoin Kumasi Asante Kotoko and join to bolster their midfield that has now been weakened and then out of form and shape. In the same contract and then negotiations for midfield, Kumasi Asante Kotoko has gone to Heart of Lions. Now, if Kotoko is going to Heart of Lions, the number one name that will come into the mind of everyone who has followed the Ghana Premier League is going to be Ishmael Ado. It's not surprising, and it's no secret that Kumasi Asante Kotoko, before the season started, had penned down, started making enquiries into the contract of Ishmael Ado. The management and the agents of Ishmael Ado told Kotoko that they have an offer outside for their player, and so after the under-20 tournament, Ishmael Ado is going to sign and will be going outside the country. It's been more than 5 months now. Ishmael Ado is still in Ghana. He hasn't traveled. He's not signed any foreign contracts. He's not attached to any foreign club. He's still a player for Heart of Lions. And so you would want to wonder whether Kotoko were lied to, or maybe the briefing didn't go on well with the agency of Ishmael Ado and the foreign contracts that they were reviewing before the season started. But then Kotoko has gone to Heart of Lions. Kotoko is looking for a midfielder. And this time around, Kotoko is not looking at Ishmael Ado. Then who are they looking at? Kotoko is looking out for a very young guy, enterprising, athletic, solid in midfield. He's a DM, okay? And so between him and Ishmael Ado, if you watch Heart of Lions War, you see that one stays back, the other goes into the attacking area, box to box, somewhat in between the DM and the AM, and will be mopping up the midfield. This guy is Eche Dogli. Eche Dogli has been a stalwart in the midfield of Heart of Lions this season. He's always present, he's always around, he's always available, and then he's giving back-to-back solid performances week in, week out. He's a combative defensive midfielder. He knows how to control the ball, retain possession, rebase possession, and distribute passes in the midfield. It's such a delight watching both Ishmael Ado and Eche Dogli in the midfield, and it's no surprising back because they are being handled by an experienced gaffer in the shape of Coach Bash Hayford. And so Kumasi Asante Kotoko has gone to Heart of Lions and knocked on the door of Eche Dogli. It is not going to be an easy negotiation because, number one, Eche Dogli signed not long ago, and so his contract situation favors Heart of Lions. He's not going to get out of contract any moment from now, and so advantage Heart of Lions. He's playing consistently. He is in the best of shape. He's in the best of form, and it's now that he's even selling himself to on No West and those who don't even follow the Ghana Premier League. Now, the Black Galaxy squad, or the local Black Stars team that was made or announced yesterday that they'll be facing South Africa in a friendly match, featured Eche Dogli. And so it tells you that if you are selecting, and mind you, it was only 4 midfielders that was selected. So if you are selecting 4 midfielders that are excelling in the Ghana Premier League stage, and he was able to make a feature, it tells you the kind of quality he has, it tells you the kind of form that he's in, and it tells you the kind of play that is given to Heart of Lions as far as this season's Ghana Premier League is concerned. And so if you are going to get such a player, it's going to come at a heavy cost. But Kumasi Asante Kotoko, knowing very well of the situation and the conditions still want to persist and knock on the doors of Echedogli. And so after 24th, you'd see that Kotoko will submit an official bid, or they would even want to submit the bid before the transfer window officially opens, so that right after the transfer window is open, they will go to the drawing board and try to put pen to paper and sign for him to become a Kumasi Asante Kotoko player. So midfielder number 2, the Kumasi Asante Kotoko are seriously pursuing and seriously chasing is Echedogli of Heart of Lions. Midfielder number 3. I made a story about Kumasi Asante Kotoko wanting 2 players from Aduana Stars last 2 weeks, right? The first player was their captain Alex Boache, who is a centre back, and so in that chaos moment that Sambo now is not going to renew his contract, Joseph Ablo is not going to renew his contract, and then Kotoko needing to augment their defense, one name that came up for experience in the Ghana Premier League, for top-notch performance, for a player in form and in shape, was Alex Boache of Aduana Stars. But then I did that story. It's past and gone. It's not past and gone because the Kotoko are still chasing and pursuing him, so that Alex Boache will join them. Not necessarily in the second round of the transfer window, but then at the end of the season, so that when Samba leaves, when Joseph Ablo leaves, he will be a part of the players that will be joining Kumasi Asante Kotoko to boost their defense. Same as Razak Simpson, right? And Ebenezer Aban. Sorry, I went to Heart of Lions without talking about Ebenezer Aban. So, captain for Heart of Lions, Ebenezer Aban, also stalwart in their defense. Before the season started, was being chased by a host of clubs. Notable among them was Accra House of Folk, who really needed the services of Ebenezer Aban. But then the price that Heart of Lions quoted then, I think was $1 million or $1.5 million. House of Folk were not going to cover that money to go pay for Ebenezer Aban. So on the list of Kumasi Asante Kotoko's defense is Razak Simpson, Ebenezer Aban, and Alex Boache of Aduana Stars. These 3 players, Razak Simpson is not going to renew his contract with Nations FC. He's made it quite clear. And so if Kotoko are going to lose Sambo O'Neill and Joseph Ablo in defense for free, Ebenezer Aban is part of the players they are pursuing from Heart of Lions, captain for Aduana Stars, Alex Boache, and Razak Simpson from Nations FC. But today's bulletin and today's exclusive is on midfield. I don't know why the attention has changed to defense. So back to midfielder number 3. So same at Aduana Stars, former player for Tema Youth, who started his football journey from secondary school for Adujamfi Senior High. Seydou Sana, they call him Casemiro. I mean, he's a beautiful midfielder. That's how I can tell him, because the kind of play that Seydou Sana displays, if for nothing at all, Aduana Stars Kumasi Asante Kotoko at the Babaya Sports Stadium, the match that ended 1-1 draw. You can go watch it. It was Seydou Sana's 4 shots that pushed that 40 rebound from goalkeeper Aziz Harunadari that resulted in Aduana Stars taking the lead before Kumasi Asante Kotoko wouldn't come back from behind to equalize. And so he's not just a midfielder. He's able to defend well in a deep lying playmaker role as a DM, but then his favorable position is in between the AM and the DM. Okay, so the central midfield role, so that he's able to combine with the defensive midfielder and the attacking midfielder. He able to, arrive early in the box, shooting from long ranges, and then doing all the necessary attacks and interceptions for his team. Still very young, because he joined Tema Youth right after secondary school from Adujamfi Senior High School before signing for Aduana Stars. Seydou Sana's contract is in the last stages. He's now running out a 6-month contract offer. Aduana Stars has given Seydou Sana a contract renewal. He's yet to put pen to paper. I don't think he's convinced about the contracts that Aduana Stars has given or presented to him. That has given a way or a door to him that Kumasi Asante Kotoko is pursuing. Kotoko not necessarily would want to go into the second round chasing Seydou Sana. They want him to continuously play for Aduana Stars, run down the 6-month contract that he has left, so that at the end of the season they can get him for free. But then If Ghana Stars, pursue him and is not able to get him to renew his contract, I think they would want to sell him on a cheap, at least to get something to balance their books and also go into the market to get a replacement. So Seydou Sada of Ghana Stars is bid for that number 3 that Kumasi Asante Kotoko is pursuing. First, Richard Bodwagadas. Second, Echedogli. Uh, don't don't keep the door closed on Ishmael Ado, because if Kotoko goes for Echedogli and then it proves very difficult, I think they'll switch their attention to Ishmael Ado and see between the two who Heart of Lions would like to will favor losing. Let me put it that way, because both are not going to come on the cheap, but then who Heart of Lions will favor losing and who Kotoko will be willing to cough the cash out for will decide. So at Heart of Lions, you keep an eye on Ishmael Ado, Echedogli, Richard Bodwagadas is free. Seydou Sada is running down a 6-month contract to the Uganda Stars and will possibly join on the free. 4 midfielders. Today, Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be playing an MTN FA Cup match against Future Stars. I think that game was supposed to come off last week, Wednesday, but then because of that outstanding matches that they've played in the past 3 weeks, the FA thought wise to give them a rest. And so they postponed it to today, 10th December, Wednesday, for Kumasi Asante Kotoko to play Ejusu-based Future Stars. In that game, there is a midfielder in the Future Stars setup. He's not a DM, he's not a CM, he's an attacking midfielder. Kotoko have paid him down. Kotoko had wanted to even sign him before the season started, but then before the season started, lots of players who were not prominent on the Ghana Premier League scene. When I say prominent on the Ghana Premier League scene, players who hadn't been household names or who hadn't made that much of noise and name around them in the Ghana Premier League, lots of them had joined Kotoko, and so Kumasi Asante Kotoko didn't want to add the Future Stars midfielder to it, but then they have still kept an eye on him, and today he'll have the opportunity to justify whether or not he deserves the red shirt of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And so midfielder number 5 from Future Stars today in MTN FA Cup against Kotoko, you get the opportunity to start for Future Stars and lead their team as the attacking midfielder and see whether he can prove Kumasi Asante Kotoko's technical team and management right as to why they are chasing him or not. So these are the midfielders that Kumasi Asante Kotoko are looking out for to bolster their midfield in the absence of Andrews and Timadu, Lord Hilary Adabo, on and off situation for Babayaya, Samuel Tinedu's injury, even when he saw injured, and you give it an opportunity, Tinedu falters to deceive, and then Tinedu fumbles to give out your best of performances. And so it has become important, it has become necessary. Emmanuel G is also out injured. The Kumasi Asante Kotoko finds solutions to their midfield worry and challenge. Before the season started, Kumasi Asante Kotoko went into the season with three strikers: Kwame Poku, Albert Sabwa, and new signing Morifin Donzo. Now, in the course of the season, Kumasi Asante Kotoko sold Albert Sabwa to Al Ali Benghazi of Libya right after they were kicked out of the CAF Confederations Cup. Up till now, the money hasn't hit the account, but that's not what we are here for. They are pursuing that, but at the administrative level, it possibly go to FIFA to seek arbitration as to how they are going to get their money. But then Morifin Donzo, so much noise, right? Before Kabitu Kotoko, he was that popular. That Borifin, combative striker, Borifin, let down striker, Borifin. He shoots twice, scores one, Borifin. And so he brought some level of hope, anticipation, and lots of revival and rejuvenation among the Kumasi Asante Kotoko fans that they are going into the season with 3 top strikers in the shape of Kwame Poku, Albert Abua, and Morifin Donzo. Almost 12 to 30 matches down, and Morifin Donzo is nowhere to be found. He's been a pale shadow of himself. Like, he's just running and chasing his own shadows. Morifin Donzo is not linking up play. Donzo is not scoring. Donzo is not assisting anybody. And so you tend to ask what at all that Morifin Donzo is offering to the Kumasi Asante Kotoko team. Because really, in this absence of Kwame Poku through injury and Albert Amua through his sale, you'd expect him to Now that he's commanded all the minutes, starting all the matches, to be scoring, to be assisting, to be contributing heavily to the attacking returns of Kotoko. Morifin is not doing that. And so Kotoko are not only looking at bolstering their midfield, attention is also on fortifying the attack. I made a story about Rudolph Mensah of Sweden All Blacks, who has been tipped to join Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Rudolph was a household name in the Division 1 before Sweden joined the Ghana Premier League. He scored over 40 goals in 2 seasons at Division 1. Currently in the Ghana Premier League, Rudolph has scored 4 times. He scored a brace over the weekend when Sweden All Blacks beat 11 Wonders by 2 goals to nothing. And so Rudolph's name has been tipped down. Again, Samuel Atakumi of the BNE Gold Stars. It's going to be very difficult for Gold Stars to negotiate the sale of Atakumi to Kotoko, especially when they are not scoring and Atakumi is the only one that they are getting the goals from. But then Kumasi Asante Kotoko are still on the hook and look for a striker to come. They don't want just a striker. They want a striker who is going straight into the 11, a striker who is going to give them the goals, who is going to give them attacking returns down. They don't want to repeat the mistakes of last season. We all know what happened last season, right? Yes, they brought on Minta, they brought on lots of strikers who were nursing injury and strikers who had been unavailable and ruled out of injury, who were not match fit for some time. Even Elvis Shebalfour has been ruled out through injury because he wasn't match fit and he had lost his form before joining Kotoko. They don't want to repeat those same mistakes again. If they are signing a player in the middle of the season, it should be a player on form for his club, a player actively playing, a player who is giving attacking returns so that when he comes, he hits the ground running and starts giving the team those performances that he's been given to his previous side. So Kotoko has spent out these 5 midfielders and will be likely adding 2 to their midfield to augment and then to strengthen their midfield, even as they look for a chase of the Ghana Premier League. It's going to be between Heart of Lions, who are in great contention. Mediema, Adriana Star still there. Kotoko is still there. House of Folk, maybe you can add your name to it. I have a House of Folk story for you. I don't know whether in the evening or tomorrow I'll come and do that story on House of Folk, and then 3 months debt arrears to players who are not ready to go to training, players who are not ready to give their best in football matches, players feigning injuries because they are owed 3 months by the team. I have that story. I'll come and do it for you. I have a story on Morifin Donzo's contract termination with Kumasi Asante Kotoko with you. That I'll add to the House of Folk story and I'll come and do it. But then this has been our exclusive stories on Kotoko's search and Kotoko's midfield penned down, even as they look to strengthen their midfield that has become very weak, to get it back in shape, rejuvenated, strengthened, fortified, even as they give a chase of this year's Ghana Premier League. This has been our afternoon exclusive on transfer stories with you here on Football 360GH. So it's a delight doing this with you, and I'll urge you that to do is the honest by sharing the video, by liking, by dropping your comments in the comment section, by dropping your thoughts in the comment section, and subscribing to become a part of the Football 360GH family. See you. Bye bye.